Part 70. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 691. Xiaoming knows that he has a limited time to possess the diver every day. So when accepting tasks, he will try to avoid those tasks that take a long time. He will also avoid those tasks that require a lot of brain power. Xiaoming is also worried that his brain will not be able to work with so many tasks at the same time. Most of the tasks he accepted are either hard battles or hard labor. Xiaoming fully utilized his advantage of having a large number of people. I don't know if you still remember that in the game, Xiaoming once obtained a universal passive skill, Strength in Numbers. The more clones there are at the same time, the more attribute bonuses the player character's main body and clones will receive. There are now more than 100 shadow clones busy in Greystone Town, and this bonus has long reached 10% of its upper limit. The diver is only level 2 now. The 5 attributes only have a bonus of 1-2 points. The effect is not very obvious. However, the attribute data of the shadow clone is at least level 3. The bonus obtained is actually a little more than that of the diver's main body. It is still quite useful at some times. While many shadow clones were working hard, the diver was playing with the beauty. To be precise, the diver accepted the exclusive mission of the mermaid Emily. There was a problem with her secret base. This secret base is actually an air area formed on the seabed due to special reasons. There Emily can transform into a human form. Xiaoming has been there with Emily several times. It can be basically confirmed that there is a barrier there. It is likely to be set up by Emily's parents and teachers. When the diver goes there by himself, he cannot enter the barrier. He can only enter when he follows Emily. This shows that the barrier here is set up like this. Those who set up the barrier like this must be the sea people who have a close relationship with Emily. This girl must have a great background. Now Xiaoming has mastered the ability of relatively powerful seals and barriers. If he really wants to do it, he can certainly destroy the barrier. But Xiaoming will not do such a stupid thing. He doesn't want to destroy the relationship between Emily and himself. However, Xiaoming doesn't do it, but some sea people want to do it. As the divers built the Temple of Light, they later became involved with the Naga tribe. Many Naga people came to Huiyan town. Some came to join the temple guards, and some were military dependents. This originally unremarkable town quickly became popular. Many sea merchants smelled the smell of making a fortune. It should be noted that the Naga tribe is strong among the sea tribes, and has business dealings with many large sea merchants. The Naga tribe suddenly stationed troops in Huiyan town. How could those merchants not come to see the situation? The result is that you don't know until you see it. You will be shocked when you see it. When did there actually become a temple of light under the sea? Take a closer look. Wow, it is worthy of being the temple of light. It actually sells many products of other land races. Fortunately, my family came, otherwise this business opportunity would have been monopolized by others. However, the size of these merchants is too large. The merchants who do business directly with the Naga tribe are of course large. Xiaoming does not have such a large supply. The second fleet of the researcher has a certain supply capacity. The deceased, as the president of the Grey Bone City branch of the White Fang Chamber of Commerce, also has a certain supply capacity. The quantity is relatively small. Any of these sea tribe merchants can take it. If they want to distribute it equally, they are too lazy to do such a small business. Want to auction? Haha, with the strength of the diver, it is really not qualified to play such a trick in front of these big crocodiles. Helplessly, the diver can only sell all the bulk of the goods to the Naga tribe. Then the Naga tribe negotiates with these merchants for distribution. For this reason, the selling price of a single commodity must not be too high. The bulk of the profit still has to be given to the Naga tribe. Fortunately, The Naga tribe also has a demand for divers and does not care much about a little profit. So the divers are not treated unfairly. From a small perspective, it seems that there is some damage, but from a big perspective, Xiaoming has taken a big advantage. The Second Fleet and the White Fang Chamber of Commerce branch were both founded not long ago and are still small in scale. With them alone, Xiaoming's cross-race trade business has never been big. The problem of cargo backlog is actually very serious. Now it's good, the business is booming all of a sudden. No matter how much cargo backlog other characters have, throw it to the sea people, and they will all be snatched away. The prosperous business of the Temple of Light has directly boosted the economy of Greystone Town, and by the way, it has also boosted the popularity of Greystone Town. A large number of sea people have poured in here. The increase in the number of sea people is a good thing, and all the original residents in the town have benefited from it, including the blacksmith shop where the diver worked at the beginning. These new sea people are energetic and explore everywhere. A small group of sea people discovered Emily's secret base. Fortunately, Emily was not blocked in it. On this day, Emily wanted to go to the secret base to play. From a distance, she saw a group of more than a dozen sea people of level 2-4 attacking the barrier of the secret base. Although Emily learned magic and became a mermaid wizard, but her strength is still very shallow, just a little more than level 1. Knowing that she was no match for him, she quickly swam back to the temple and asked the diver for comfort, a hug, and help. Although the diver's brother had only just reached level 2, Emily instinctively determined that the diver must have a way. She really thought highly of Xiaoming. Of course we have a way. If it's simple and direct, we can just send a group of shadow clones to deal with those guys. But doing so will inevitably cause endless troubles. Who knows what background these people have? What big guys will be provoked by beating them? Xiaoming doesn't want to cause trouble, so there's no need to confront them head on. This time, even Emily didn't let her go. Xiaoming just sent a few 7-star shadow clones. They quietly swam to the vicinity of the secret base. First, use illusions to confuse these sea creatures, and then use the power of the Sherry Non to transfer everything in the secret base to Guangmingding. Then run away. When those sea creatures break the barrier, the illusion left by Xiaoming will disappear at the same time. So they will only see the bare ground in front of them, and nothing else, all illusions. They will think that they have been deceived by illusions and have worked in vain for most of the day. Even if they know they have been tricked, they can't find the culprit, so they can only let it go. Xiaoming used alchemy to create a space under the Temple of Light and sealed it with a barrier. He put the things in the underground base into the space intact. This barrier under the ground not only isolates the sea water, but also only allows Emily and the diver to enter. Emily's troubles were perfectly solved by the diver without making a sound. The mermaid girl's favorability towards the diver instantly rose to 90. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 692. Here. For you the mermaid girl Emily took out a conch from the pile of messy things, played with it in her hands for a while, and then put it into the diver's hand with great care. She really liked this conch, which was a toy she had played with since she was a child. The diver helped her solve such a big problem, so of course she had to give her beloved things to repay him. Xiaoming actually didn't care. Xiaoming had repeatedly identified, excavated, scanned, and observed Emily's pile of things for a long time. He even used his mind ability condensation, but didn't see anything valuable. Naturally, he didn't have any hope. No matter what he gave him, it was a token of his heart. The gift was small, but the sentiment was heavy. Helping Emily move the secret base was not a very difficult task. Xiaoming felt that it was enough to increase the favorability by 9 points. This was a leap from 80 to 90. The difficulty of obtaining favorability at this stage was quite high. Because the favorability was above 90, it was another concept. When the favorability reached 90, it was a relationship of trust. From now on, it will be difficult to lower the favorability, which is like taking out insurance. So Xiaoming was very satisfied with such a harvest, but he didn't expect Emily to give him another surprise. We can see that Xiaoming used the Mangekyo Sherinon to move the secret base, and used the barrier technique when sealing it. These are all abilities outside the main game. So this hidden task is actually extremely difficult. It can be said that the system does not intend for the player to actually complete this task. It is already very good to be able to get some things back for the mermaid and increase the favorability by 2 or 3 points. The dozen or so sea creatures who attacked the barrier belong to the playboys in the Sea Clan, and there are considerable forces behind them. And they are attacking the barrier in the wild, so it can't be said that they made a mistake. Emily is not qualified to define the secret base as her private territory. This side is not right, and a conflict will cost a lot. Generally speaking, the more reasonable way is to join them and then wait for an opportunity to buy back these sundries. It is estimated that even the system did not expect that there would be players who could do such a perfect task in such a task. The Nine-Tailed Fox and the game production team certainly would not underestimate the Pangustar people. They naturally knew about the existence of high-level reincarnationists. But they did not dare to hold too high hopes for such masters to play online games. Other people's reincarnation space is obviously more fun. Even if they come to play, it is more useful to go to the secret realm to familiarize themselves with the plot. The main game is not of much help to them. Of course, nothing is absolute in the world. It is possible that masters with water in their brains temporarily exist. Therefore, the system still sets a very good reward. Who knows that the master with water in his brain did not wait, and Xiaoming with water in his brain came. He took 9 points of favorability and it was not enough, and he took this reward by the way. The conch was originally an ordinary object. When Emily picked it up, it seemed that there was no change, but after handing it to the diver, the conch suddenly became different. System prompt: congratulations to the player diver for obtaining the 3rd level special treasure Azure Conch. Azure Conch: blowing this conch can summon 10 sea creatures of level 1-3 for your use. The usage cycle is once a week. The special thing about this Azure Conch is that it can be used in both the adventure map and the strategic map. However, it can only be used once a week. If it is used in the strategic map, it cannot be used again in the adventure map. You must wait a week. Such treasures are great things for both strategic maps and adventure maps. The use in the strategic map is obvious, which is equivalent to a portable troop nest. The number is not small. Moreover, the Sea Tribe troop is a hidden troop, which can play a miraculous role at certain times. However, on the adventure map, the upper limit of the number of mercenaries for ordinary players is limited. This treasure seems a bit tasteless. These players cannot play the maximum effect of this treasure. Unless they always consume mercenaries to fight hard battles, and then use conch to supplement the troops. Doing so does not seem to waste the function of the Azure Conch. In fact, it wastes the ability of this treasure to accumulate a large army. But divers are different. He is the manager of the underwater Temple of Light. The organization of the Temple Guard is much larger than that of the player's mercenary organization. Currently, the size of the first Temple Guard is limited to between 100-500. And there is room for upgrading. Although the Naga clan helped him establish the first guard, it is impossible to fill it up. Therefore, the first guard currently has only 200 0-2 level Nagas. It's not that they are reluctant to fill 500 people, but they deliberately leave room for divers. If the guards are all soldiers sent by the Naga clan, then the divers will be sidelined soon. This is also polite and can test the ability of divers. In the past, divers had no status in the Sea Clan, and it was difficult to recruit many soldiers. So they simply did not recruit them to avoid embarrassment. Now the treasure of the Azure Conch has come too timely. Now I can pretend to be 13 without worry. It can also make the Naga clan be cautious about me. As for the strategic map, there are already undead sea creatures who can continuously replenish the fleet. Divers don't have to rely on the Azure Conch. Although Xiaoming was very happy to get the treasure, he did not blow it immediately. Such a powerful treasure must be strengthened with source energy first. With triple source energy strengthening, the Azure Conch has been strengthened by one level in 3 aspects. The number of summons per time has increased from 10 to 15, the number of uses has increased to 2 times a week, the level of the troops has been raised to level 2-3. The first 2 are to increase the number of summons, and the last one greatly improves the quality of summons. Since it can be used twice, Xiaoming simply tested it once in the strategic map and adventure map respectively. The number of troops obtained is similar. Due to the special nature of divers, there are only 3 races of sea tribe troops summoned by blowing the Azure Conch: octopus, naga, and mermaid. The mermaid troops appear, obviously because this conch comes from Emily. Among the sea tribes, fishmen are the most common race, and there are many varieties. Mermaids are relatively rare, and their number is even less than that of the Naga tribe. So in general, mermaids are regarded as a branch of mermen, attached to the large group of mermen. While being protected by mermen, the status of the mermen in the sea tribe has also been raised. Because the mermaid tribe is very similar to the elves on land, but the number is even rarer. Every mermaid, male or female, has a very high appearance. They can be called an underwater model group. Moreover, every mermaid is a genius in water magic and an important part of the magic power of the sea tribe. They are extremely precious. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 693. Blowing the Azure Conch twice, the diver got 2 level 3 mermaid mages in the strategic map and adventure map, as well as some other octopuses and nagas. This treasure does not consume any strength or mana of the player character, and does not even consume gold coins. It is really a good thing. Of course, the salary of the soldiers still needs to be paid. Maybe because the strength of level 3 is still a little low. The mermaid mage in the adventure map only knows some common water magic. Mainly blessing auxiliary magic, ice damage magic is also okay. It's just that Xiaoming's own strength is too strong, so he thinks the mermaid mage is relatively weak. On the strategic map, the mermaid mage is a long-range magic soldier, which can launch long-range magic attacks. The characteristic of magic soldiers is that they are not restricted by ammunition. In battle, when the mana is exhausted, you can get magic power replenishment as long as you rest. Even some high-level magic soldiers have the special skill of meditation, which restores mana faster. Soon they can attack remotely again. In the battle of the strategic map, if you can separate the enemy from your own troops, and the opponent has no long range. Haha, even if the difference between the enemy and us is huge, this kind of long-range magic attack troops can also consume the enemy. It's just that this situation is not easy to encounter. So they have certain advantages over conventional long-range troops. Of course, they often become the target of the enemy's first attack. In this regard, the mermaid wizards in the adventure map are treated the same. As long as the enemy is not stupid, they will generally attack them first. The diver plans to accumulate mermaids. At present, when there are few of them, try to protect them as much as possible. Xiaoming even did some things to these 4 mermaid wizards. Don't think wrongly, it's not to do anything to them. Instead, he enlightened them and awakened their spirits, and promoted them to free NPCs. In the short term, there is no change, only that they are obviously much more lively. The long-term growth potential must be higher. On the two maps, the mermaid wizard and other nagas and octopuses summoned by conch shells were incorporated into the temple guards by Xiaoming. Tom and Jerry, two managers from the Naga tribe, were shocked by the new soldiers brought by the divers. These 2-3 level sea creatures are not easy to get. Neither Nagas nor octopuses are regular soldiers of the sea tribe. And the 2-3 level mermaid wizards are even more powerful. They are actually 2 free NPCs. 3 free NPCs of the mermaid tribe appeared in the small grey stone town. This is a bit magical. The happiest person is Emily. She grew up in Greystone Town and has never seen another mermaid. There is a strong sense of loneliness. Now 2 big sisters and big brothers from the same tribe suddenly ran out, which made her very happy and kept circling around her. As a result, after spending a few days with the 2 mermaid wizards, she found that they actually had no social experience at all and were more naive than herself. But it's a good thing to have people of the same tribe. In addition, there is another happy thing. Among the dozens of sea children who have been eating, drinking, and living in the Temple of Light, more than 10 of them joined the guards because of various tasks and became followers of the divers. Among them are Emily, the king of children, and Bobby Bart, the octopus brother. They are all slightly older children. And those who are very young cannot become followers at present. The naughty squid sister belongs to that group. This is actually another group of Han Dong and Chiu San Tung. In the main game, there are a certain number of NPCs that can be cultivated in almost every village, town, and city. This is the helper prepared by the game for the players. Among them, teenagers are the main ones. After all, NPCs of this age are easy to grow, even the sea people are the same. And as newcomers, they can become heroes or generals and enter the strategic map after they grow up. Brothers Han Dong and Chiu San Tung are such examples. It's just that Han Dong and others were born in Biang village. Of course, the number of such NPCs in village level units is not as many as that in town level units. Divers have taken a big advantage. It is much easier to win over these sea children than to win over Han Dong. First of all, divers are temple managers with a high status and military organization. This makes divers have better conditions for cultivating followers than explorers at the beginning. Secondly, there are no other players in Huiyan town to divert traffic, and no one is competing for resources. This type of NPC has no second choice but to follow divers. Thirdly, because of Emily, divers have always been on good terms with these children. The favorability has always been high. Finally, divers have too many shadow clones. Otherwise, a player can only cultivate 2 or 3 followers at most at the same time. More than that can't be taken care of. However, Xiaoming can cultivate more than a dozen followers at the same time, and they are all served comfortably. With such advantages, it would be strange if they didn't follow divers. By the weekend, the diver had more than a dozen zero-level sea followers. If they were to transfer to the strategic map through the system's temple, I wonder how much it would cost. However, the diver already had a temple, so he only needed to consume faith points. Xiaoming could use source energy to recharge the temple. Of course, there is no need for this at present. There is only this temple in Greystone Town, and more residents in the town believe in the God of Light. This faith value has also become endless. It is estimated that this temple will be upgraded to an intermediate temple in the near future. Neither explorers nor divers have worked hard to do missionary work, and everything is left to nature. Otherwise, they would have been upgraded long ago. Because the arms are too complicated, Xiaoming only brought 4 followers to the strategic map, Emily, a mermaid, and 3 small octopuses including Bobby. The others stayed in the adventure map. At this time, the adventure level of the diver reached level 2, level 15, the strategic level rushed to level 7, and the admiral skin was also upgraded to level 6. Above level 5, Xiaoming chose elementary navigation as the first professional talent. 1 point of random attribute is added to strength, and free attribute points are added to knowledge. The current strategic 4 dimensions of the diver are 2, 2, 2, 2. The strength of the private army has increased a lot. Command, 184/810. Number of troops, 4/4. Diver add second level Naga 4 armed swordsman 10 add second level Naga 2 armed swordsman 5. 0th level octopus such as Bobby 3 add first level undead octopus slinger 92. General David Diozzi add second level undead octopus slinger 77 add third level octopus slinger 2. Emily 0th level mermaid wizard 1 add third level mermaid wizard 2. These troops plus more than 480 0th level sailors are still far from filling the 6,500 command limit of the first guard fleet. However, the fleet of Old Shoelace now has more than 1,001-3th level undead soldiers, which is much stronger than the guard led by the diver himself. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 694. Among the 4 characters in the main game of Magic Planet, the one with the most interesting experience is the Accuser. On the adventure map, since the Accuser officially established a branch of the White Fang Chamber of Commerce in Greybone City, he has been worthy of the title of branch president. As a new branch, the Accuser has the power to form a Chamber of Commerce guard on the adventure map. The force limit is 100-500 undead. The same as the first temple guard of the diver. This shows that the system is still fair in the initial stage. No wonder. The status of the diver is obviously higher, and he can directly have a temple guard on the strategic map. But the Accuser is not so lucky. Xiaoming actually asked the city lord Bai Yulin about this. Bai Yulin's answer was that the Accuser's contribution was not enough. Since we are in Greybone City, let's do business well. However, the tree wants to be quiet but the wind does not stop. Soon, a player came to make trouble for Xiaoming. The undead are different from the sea people. The undead are not a hidden race. And it is also a race that is very popular among players. A large number of players choose to become the undead. Greybone City is a small city of the undead. After the undead players reach level 2, a large number of them move into various small cities. Now Greybone City is almost full of players. You should know that when a player is at level 2, he can open a second character by completing tasks. And the special group has already opened a third character at level 2. In the Magic Planet game, the number of players may not increase much, but the number of player characters has almost doubled. The undead have won a second spring. And it doesn't take much time for the second character to upgrade from level 0 to level 2. Soon these characters also moved into various small cities. From then on, the interaction between players became more frequent. Before level 2, in order to become a hero and enter the strategic map, everyone had already upgraded their heads, rarely fought with each other, and even often cooperated. However, after level 2, the strategic map was also entered, the speed of player upgrades also slowed down, and the competition for game resources became fierce. Common in game novels, such as occupying leveling points and guild wars, these things gradually began to happen. Each player brought more than a dozen or 20 mercenaries, and once the fight started, there would be a huge crowd of people. Not to mention it was quite spectacular. Anyway, after a period of chaos, the distribution of underground power in various cities was basically stable. Player guilds are actually like the underworld in the game. After fighting and killing, you still have to do business and make money honestly. Players don't really want to play games like Underworld all the time. Just when the players of Greybone City were actively entering the business, there was suddenly a branch of the Chamber of Commerce controlled by individual players in the city, and it was built in the wreckage of a large ship. This of course attracted widespread attention from the Greybone City player community. They wanted to talk to this guy they had never heard of at the time. But since the informant has always been managed by the intelligent program, players can't negotiate with the intelligent program at all. When Xiao Ming goes online, he is mostly on the strategic map. He often takes a look at the adventure map and leaves. Players can't catch Xiao Ming online. Finally, they got anxious and sent people to guard the store all the time. Finally, on July 26, they blocked Xiao Ming. Dear informant, I am here to help the evil. On behalf of the major guilds in Grey Bone City, I formally invite you to attend the banquet in 2 hours. The location is room 3, Tianzi, 3rd floor, Grey Bone Inn. I hope you can attend on time, a skeleton swordsman player said to the informant very politely. Although the words were polite, his life energy told Xiao Ming that this was an ultimatum. The other party was almost losing patience with him. The so-called banquet was probably a hungman banquet. Cities are generally green safety areas, and players cannot fight each other. But this is not absolute. The area of villages and towns is relatively small, and the green safety area can generally be fully covered. Relatively speaking, the area of cities is much larger. Some remote corners may be blue neutral areas. For example, when the shadow clone of the researcher was in Tanshan City, he fought with hostile players in the blue area. The Chamber of Commerce of the deceased is of course built in the green area, not even far from the white resurrection area. The geographical location is very good. Xiao Ming is not afraid of players who are tough, but we have the city lord to protect us. Of course, he will not deliberately draw hatred and say, what if I don't go? There is no need for this. Okay, I will definitely attend on time. I wonder who are the major guilds you mentioned, Xiao Ming was curious. He was a little impatient, but he still politely refused. I'm sorry, I can't report so many names at once. It's not good to miss any of them. You should come to meet them in person. Goodbye. After saying that, he left in a hurry. It seems that he doesn't want to talk to the deceased anymore. Although he left, there are still dozens of players around the Chamber of Commerce following him. Some are open and some are hidden, and they are all seen clearly by Xiao Ming's circle. These guilds have united and collectively found him. It seems that they are aiming for something big. It is estimated that the conditions have been discussed, and there may not be much room for bargaining for the plaintiff. This feeling is really uncomfortable. In order to prevent them from misjudging their own strength, Xiao Ming decided to pull up the tiger skin. The players guarding the periphery suddenly saw hundreds of various undeads coming out of the Chamber of Commerce one after another. They only stared at a small half of them. There were still many undeads who didn't know where they went. The original undeads in the store, such as Grey Bone Yuyi, Grey Bone Gai, etc., were already familiar to the players. Where did these new undeads come from? Several of the players quickly notified their respective bosses. About half an hour later, players began to gather at the Grey Bone Inn. After that, many players came in an endless stream. About half an hour later, no new players arrived. After another half an hour, the garrison of Grey Bone City began to mobilize. About 1,000 undead soldiers above level 3 came over and surrounded the Grey Bone Inn. They didn't say what they were going to do. Finally, the agreed time came. The players in room 3 of Tianzi saw with trepidation that under the protection of the city lord's personal guards, the deceased and the lord of Grey Bone City, Bai Yulin, came together and entered the inn together. Oh my god! Asterisk N. Asterisk N. Asterisk N. All the players were stunned. They wanted to kill a fat sheep, but it suddenly turned into a tiger. All the previous plans were useless. What should I do? Someone asked in doubt. Calm down, calm down. This is a game, NPCs will not hurt players without reason. Some people reacted calmly. Yes, we can negotiate as usual. No. Don't be afraid, this person even stuttered. Are you sure he is telling the truth? Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 695. The Tianzihao rooms in the Grey Bones Inn are very large. Otherwise, the player forces would not choose this place as a meeting place. Some players who were originally crowded in the corridor were driven away by the city lord's personal guards. Some ran outside the building, while others squeezed into room number 3. Everyone waited in fear for a while, only to hear the constant sounds outside. But no NPC entered room 3. The deceased didn't even come in. What does this mean? Just when everyone was feeling uneasy, they heard a loud noise, and the wall between room 2 and room 3 in Tianzi next door collapsed. Many people were so frightened that they jumped 3 feet high. Turning around, he saw 7 or 8 level 4 skeleton soldiers taking back their big hammers and carrying them on their shoulders. It was their combined force that knocked down the wall just now. After the smoke and dust cleared, in room 2, the city lord's personal guards were majestically arrayed. There was only a small table in the room, where the 2 undead souls of the deceased and Bai Yulin sat. Under such power, many players dare not sit still no matter what. They all stood up and bowed their heads. It didn't embarrass the players, not even one was frightened to their knees. The undead clan doesn't talk about this. Bai Yulin looked at the silent players and was very satisfied, and slowly said, I heard that you are going to invite my little brother to a banquet to complain about the deceased. I am here uninvited. I hope you don't mind. The players remained silent, and no one even dared to say I don't mind. Because Bai Yulin's words didn't mean for them to answer at all. Level 5 masters are the ones that players will look up to for a long time. I don't know how a level 2 player like me can become brothers with a level 5 master. Just listen to Bai Yulin continue to say, listen to my brother, you are all the pillars of the Ashes City. This gathering is also to revitalize the Ashes City. I am deeply gratified. I don't know if you have any suggestions. Let me hear them. Listen. He paused for a moment, and when no one spoke, he said to the complainant again, how about brother, please speak first. Xiaoming nodded, since everyone is so humble, let me offer some advice. Now most of the players have reached level 2, and some of the strong players have reached level 3. Most players have begun to enter the stage of taking care of production, and everyone can generally make a little money for themselves in their life and career. There is no need to mention sporadic production by ordinary players. Various game guilds and various forces are actively cultivating their own lifestyle players. In this way, a large number of products appeared, which the guild could not digest internally. Just use it to do some small business to make money. As a result, various guilds rented small shops one after another to do business, which was also the prototype of their own influence in the future. In the future, if a chamber of commerce is established and a guard team is established, it will be officially registered with the NPC, and it will no longer be a mafia. Ashbone City has hundreds of small shops run by players, more than 80% of which belong to various guilds. They fight openly and secretly, and cooperate with each other. Prepare to develop into a real chamber of commerce when the average player reaches level 3-4. If Xiaoming just wanted to get rid of their entanglement, there was no need to invite Bai Yulin here at all. Just a random NPC in the city lord's mansion is enough. For now, players don't dare to provoke the city lord's mansion. Bai Yulin was invited here this time, not only to vent his anger, but also to test an idea. Since these people set up the Hungmen banquet to deal with themselves, they must be aware of being bitten by themselves. This time they took the initiative. Xiaoming actually has a game guild, the Magic Dragon Aotian Guild. Although everyone is no longer in the same room playing games, various information is still shared. According to the information they obtained, as long as a sufficient number of small shops with sufficient financial resources unite, they can apply to become a chamber of commerce. This is also one of the paths that various guilds are preparing to take. The complainant already owns the chamber of commerce, so he can annex some small shops. Whether it's a player's or an NPC's. It's just that Xiaoming is not short of money, so he doesn't plan to take the initiative to do such a thing. But since this group of players has come to the door, I would be sorry if I didn't shave off a layer of their skin. So under the pressure of the city lord, the 88 small shops controlled by these players' guilds join the White Fang Chamber of Commerce branch that sued the deceased. Originally, after each successful transaction of these small shops, the system would automatically collect 20% of the deposited profits as tax and hand it over to the city lord's palace. Even for items produced by players themselves, the system has a set of rules for calculating costs. I won't bully players here. After these small shops are merged into the White Fang Chamber of Commerce, they need to hand over 40% of their profits to the complainant, who will then pay taxes to Ashbone City and the White Fang Chamber of Commerce. In theory, after joining the White Teeth Chamber of Commerce, these small shops should be taken care of in all aspects by the Chamber of Commerce. If they join a real NPC Chamber of Commerce, they will indeed be taken care of. It seems that you have paid 20% more profits, but you have actually gained more. You can also build a good relationship with the NPC Chamber of Commerce. Part of the money earned by players is used for public relations for NPCs, so it is not considered a loss. The guild players in Ashbone City were much less lucky, and the extra profits were simply an apology to the deceased. And the favorability of the White Fang Chamber of Commerce will fall on the accuser. They get almost nothing. Although reluctant, no one really dared to refuse sternly. The guild's initial investment in the shop was too great. If Xiaoming's suggestion was rejected, the shop would probably not open. That is blood loss. Although the profits are less now, they can still be maintained. And this kind of half-finished report card will definitely make you embarrassed at the headquarters. For your own benefit, you have to grit your teeth and resist. These people all had similar plans. They would hold on for a while and take the opportunity to carry out public relations work on the complainants. Maybe we can use the line of informing the dead to get in touch with the White Fang Chamber of Commerce and the City Lord's mansion. According to the current situation, the informant is just an individual player, and maybe he can be absorbed into his guild. Isn't this benefit still yours? The price you pay now is just drizzle. If you really want to do big things in the game, individual players can't compete with professional players' guilds. It was with this mentality that they chose to give in and join the White Fang Chamber of Commerce, which sued the dead. Xiaoming would make such a suggestion, taking advantage of the psychology of guild players. If the opponent was also an independent player, Xiaoming would never put forward such harsh conditions. The worst case scenario is that the person will quit and break up with you, and nothing will be gained. Only when the player's guild is reluctant to invest in the early stage, and does not have the courage to break up, coupled with a little desire, can things develop so smoothly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 696. After all, the city lord Bai Yulin is an NPC, so he doesn't quite understand the twists and turns in this. He vaguely guessed that he was the defendant who was taking advantage of the power of the defendant, but he didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Because the defendant gave all 40% of the profits to the city lord's mansion and the White Fang Chamber of Commerce, which was considered to be given to Bai Yulin, and the defendant himself did not withhold any. How could he mind such selfless behavior? In fact, the real reason why Xiaoming did this was that he didn't care about this little money at the moment. Although it seems that there are 88 franchised shops, each business is actually not large. Compared with Xiaoming's cross-race trade, This is just a drop in the bucket. Maybe their business will be big in the future. But by then, my business should be bigger too. Giving these sporadic benefits to Bai Yulin is still more beneficial than harmful to me. Xiao Ming didn't intend to hide the situation, and deliberately did it in front of many players to show that he was open and above board. Meaning, I did cheat you guys, but this is just revenge for you guys teaming up to cheat me, not for your little money. People's thinking is so strange, when they think that all the profits have fallen into the hands of the person who reported the death. Although the money is not much, all the guild players feel very unhappy. It's just that people have to bow their heads under the eaves. When the person who reported the death turned over all the profits, everyone's emotions calmed down a lot since the person who reported the death did not take advantage, they were not so angry. These people are small leaders in the guild, the people who talk about the area, equivalent to department managers. Naturally, it is clear that the person who reported the death did not gain nothing. This operation at least gained goodwill with the NPC. But judging from the current level of players, to be able to achieve this point, the person who reported the death must have paid a huge price to invite the NPC of the city lord level. Maybe it's a big loss. Human nature is so weird. It was originally something that was powerless to resist, and everyone was ready to close their eyes and endure it, willing to accept defeat. Suddenly, I found that the informant did not get any advantage, and everyone was tricked by the NPC. With this plot in mind, everyone felt comfortable. I thought I had some understanding of the informant's temper. When the city lord Bai Yulin left with the army, most of the leaders of various guilds came forward, exchanged names with the informant, and added him as a friend. Looking at the life energy of these people, Xiao Ming felt speechless. After 2 or 3 days of calm, on Friday, the 29th, the leaders of the two guilds actually came to visit the informant together. In fact, they also came here 2 days ago, but they did not meet Xiao Ming online. The intelligent programs are still avoiding players for the time being. One of the players is a level 3 skeleton black warrior, and his game ID is Bayan. The name is very similar to the same kind of Junjun, Lushu, and Juwei fox. Of course, this Bayan is not that Bayan. He is the leader of the monster guild in the Grey Bone City. In the past, Xiao Ming's other character, Explorer, had dealt with the monster guild. It is estimated that there must be players named Nine-Tailed Fox in the guild. It is not certain about the names of the Nine-Tailed Fox and Lushu, as these two names are a bit unpopular. When Bayan saw the accuser, he laughed and claimed that they did not know each other until they fought. Let the trivial things in the past go with the wind. What else can Xiao Ming say? He can only agree and invite the two to sit down and drink tea. After all, everyone is a skeleton, so the so-called tea drinking is just a token of respect. Xiao Ming will not take out the enhanced good tea to treat them. The other one is a level 3 skeleton spearman named Wu Yi Buletinzo. He is the boss of the Wanyi Guild in the Grey Bone City. Xiao Ming has never heard of this guild before. Tong Yi Xiangzhu, who came to pass the message to the accuser before, is also a member of this guild. Wu Yi Buletinzo told the purpose of their visit. They came to win over the accuser to do the task together. Vampire Conspiracy, a Purple Master level task. Mission brief: a group of vampires suddenly appeared in the desert near the Grey Bone City. They were sneaking around and no one knew what they were doing. Please find out their purpose and report back. This is a purple mission that the All-Evil Guild snatched in the Grey Bone City Mission Hall. This mission has a limit on the number of players, 1-100 people. The two major guilds understand the meaning of such a limit. On the one hand, this tells players that the fewer people participate in the mission, the better the reward. On the other hand, it also indicates the difficulty of this mission. A maximum of 100 players are allowed to participate. Including mercenaries, there are 1,000 or 2,000 people. This shows that the mission is very difficult. Players have 3 opportunities to try this mission. The All Evil Guild did it once. They sent a team of 10 players to go there, but the whole army was wiped out. Then the All Evil Guild and the Monster Guild did it again, sending out 25 players, but they still returned empty-handed. Many players were injured and owed a lot of experience. Those players who have reached level 3 are fine, but some players at level 2 are in a bad situation, and are even further away from level 3. They have understood it? It is indeed a purple master level task. It is really not something that the current level of players can handle. After 2 attempts, they have not even touched the shadow of completing the task. This time, they came to find the dead informer to drag another force into the water. The dead informer seems to have a lot of people under his command. Last time, the spies of various guilds saw that many undead walked out of the White Fang Chamber of Commerce. They can all act independently, indicating that they are either players or free NPCs. Mercenaries have no such freedom. In fact, they were all Xiao Ming's shadow clones, but these players were unable to identify them. At this stage, normal players can only have a few followers at most. Therefore, they all believe that the informer controls many players, or at least has many friends. This time, it was not so much that he wanted to do a mission with the accuser, but rather that he wanted to use this mission to consume the accuser's strength. At the same time, they will also send a few players who are already at level 3 to follow and have a look. Anyway, these players are not in a hurry to upgrade, so it doesn't matter if they die again and lose some experience. If the informant is really good and successfully completes the task, they can also make a lot of money. If his men are smart, they might be able to get a big chunk of the mission rewards. This calculation was quite shrewd. Xiao Ming tried a few words and wanted to buy this task directly and do it himself. With his own strength, he still has a good chance of winning. But it was discovered through the changes in the life energy of these 2 people. They will never sell this mission. If they cannot complete it themselves, other players will not be allowed to complete this task. Even if it's rotten in your hands, you won't let others have the opportunity to reap such great benefits. This kind of thing is very common in the main game at this stage. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 697. The speed at which players upgrade naturally varies. Some players play the game for fun, and it is possible that they will not upgrade until the end of the game. Players who upgrade quickly are actually divided into several levels. We will ignore the small group of players who upgrade the fastest and only talk about the first tier. They usually upgrade from level 0 to level 1 in 1 to 2 days. It takes about 7-10 days from level 1 to level 2. It takes 4-6 weeks from level 2 to level 3. It takes longer after level 3. The game has been in operation for almost 2 months, and I have not seen a level 4 player yet. Maybe it will be okay in another 2 months. And after level 3, players are no longer mainly upgrading. The strategic map is important. The player's own combat system and skill proficiency also need to be cultivated. In addition, there are many tasks and changes in life professions. The whole game has become colorful and exciting. One of the biggest changes is the issue of tasks. There are almost always many players squatting at the various regular locations for issuing tasks in the city. The tasks above blue are almost snatched up as soon as they appear. No matter whether they can be completed or not, as long as they can get it, they will grab it first. Player guilds are most happy to do this kind of thing. There are many talents in the guild, and there are always players who are suitable for tasks. As long as they can grab the task, they will definitely find a way to solve it. Besides, the competition between guilds is fierce nowadays. If they don't grab the tasks above blue, they will be taken by other guilds, which is equivalent to indirectly helping the enemy. Therefore, sometimes they would rather fail the task. They think it is better than being snatched away by other players. As more and more players reach level 3, This trend is becoming more and more obvious. Even green tasks have begun to join the ranks of being snatched. Xiaoming felt this most clearly in the dead. Explorers are in the special event stage. There are no players competing for the opening of Liangshan dungeons. Divers are in the sea town, a hidden race, and the players have not arrived yet. No one competes with him for tasks. It is a 50-50 split for the researchers. In the strategic map Diaokan, no one competed with him for the mission. On the adventure map, there were quite a few players in Tanshan City, and there were indeed people competing for the mission. However, due to the special geographical location of Tanshan City, there were not many players. Anyway, there were definitely not as many players as in Greybone City. Xiaoming's shadow clones were all over the city, and almost all the missions he received were blank missions. Green missions were rare. Blank missions were missions that could be accepted repeatedly, and even if other players accepted them, the informant could still accept them. Coincidentally, Xiaoming's current way of doing missions was also to focus on quantity rather than quality. Whether to accept missions above blue or not still needs to be considered. It's just right that I can't accept them now, out of sight, out of mind. However, now that someone has put a purple mission in front of the informant, Xiaoming can't help but do it. He paid 200 gold coins and got the right to participate in this mission. As for whether these two guilds will take advantage of him, it doesn't matter. It depends on his mood at that time. If the players who come are not bad, Xiaoming will let them take advantage of him. If a player with bad luck comes, Xiaoming will probably do something bad secretly. As soon as he said it, the Monster Guild and the All-Evil Guild each sent 4 level 3 players to participate in the mission. None of the 2 guild leaders came, and it seems that they don't take it seriously. 7 of the 8 players are ordinary people, not very good or bad. Only one person's luck is really bad, but the sins he committed are not to the point where Xiaoming needs to punish him personally. Then forget it, let them fend for themselves. On the surface, the dead accuser brought more than 20 players who changed into shadow clones. Together with the other 8 guild players, they went to the mission location. Outside the Grey Bone City is a large area of desert that stretches as far as the eye can see, without even an oasis. Probably only the undead, with their innate advantages, can build a city in such an environment. The undead do not need food and water, and they will not die of hunger or thirst. As long as there is a supply of death breath, they can survive forever. In addition, there are often quicksands in the desert, and sand dunes can flow everywhere. Maybe someone will be buried. Even a city may be buried. Other races will die if they are buried by sand. Only the undead race is different. They are buried and they are all sleeping. They will still be good undead after being dug out decades later. The advantage of the skeleton race is particularly obvious. The wind and sand leak through the skeleton, making it difficult to be completely buried. On the contrary, it is too easy to get out of a piece of quicksand. Maybe this is why the Grey Bone City was built there. After walking about a few kilometers north in the desert, the surrounding scenery is still the same desert. If there were no maps provided by the system and relevant prompts for the tasks, those players would have lost their way long ago. Xiaoming was not afraid. His scanning map and circle were always on, so he would never get lost. Even the invisible Grey Bone City was still within the map scanned by Xiaoming. Originally, Xiaoming was worried that they would lead him into a trap, and then a group of players would rush out and kill him. But of course, even if they were destroyed, they would only die once, and they would still be unlucky after the dead were resurrected. This possibility was not great. Sure enough, none of these players had this intention. It's a bit of a schadenfreude feeling. It seems that there is no hope of suing the deceased. Using the temptation of the task to make the accuser willingly be killed by the NPC is the highest level. Suddenly a player said, "We're here, everyone, get ready and use the mission scroll immediately." Okay. No problem. I'm ready. As everyone answered one after another, the player activated the quest scroll. Hula la, a strong wind and sand blew by. Nothing seems to change in the desert. If you look closely, you can see that the surface of the surrounding sand is crawling, and something seems to be shuttled under the sand. In a short time, this phenomenon became more and more obvious. And this situation is everywhere within a radius of several hundred meters. Just listen to the player yelling, "Everyone, be careful of desert scorpions. Try not to move around, they can feel the vibration of the sand." At this time, all 8 players have released their mercenaries and formed 2 circular formations to protect themselves. I am very skilled at watching the movements. The player continued to shout, "Hold on for more than 10 minutes, and the quicksand vortex will appear. Don't be afraid. Once you enter the vortex, you can go to the next level. Bring as many mercenaries down as possible, be careful of scorpions." Then he discovered that the group of players brought by the informant did not release mercenaries, but gathered together to attack the desert scorpions, and their combat effectiveness was actually pretty good. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 698. Witnessed by 8 players from the Monster Guild and the Evil Guild, more than 20 players including the Dead Teller were fighting with desert scorpions on the surface. For some reason, these players, including the Dead Teller, could not identify them. They could not tell the level and rank. This should be the group effect of some high-level treasure. These players have also heard of this kind of treasure in their own guild. They just have never seen it. Therefore, it is not surprising that their true strength is above these level 3 players. Watching these players fight desert scorpions is as simple as slapping flies. They all carry 2 types of weapons, melee and ranged. Some use sticks for melee, some use double knives, and the ranged ones are all crossbows. They seem to have a clear grasp of every move of the scorpion. Almost before the scorpion attacks, it is killed by the crossbow arrows they jointly shoot. Even if there were a few stronger scorpions that could charge at these players with crossbows, they would be defeated by their exquisite stick and knife skills. Of course, these guild players still don't know what they are talking about. If they were knowledgeable, they would see that no matter what kind of weapon, when attacking, it is attached with various powers such as telekinesis, microcosm, spiritual power, etc. Therefore, it is so easy to deal with these monsters of level 2. The hard shell of the desert scorpion is as soft as tofu in front of these supernatural powers. These shadow clones are slowly fighting monsters on the surface, which is also attracting the attention of players. The deceased himself is no longer here. After the player used the task scroll, Xiaoming immediately felt that a huge underground cave appeared hundreds of meters deep below the desert. Xiaoming first put on a mental shield and an invisible suit for himself, and then used alchemy to separate the sand sea and dive down. In the sand sea between the cave and the surface, hundreds of desert scorpions shuttled through it, not only second-level scorpions, but also third and even fourth-level scorpions. No wonder the upper limit of the task requires 100 players. There are patrols everywhere in the underground cave. A patrol team usually consists of 1 4th-level scorpion and 10 3rd-level scorpions. Such strength is enough for players to drink a pot. Unexpectedly, those 4th-level scorpions are riding on the back of a 4th-level vampire. It turned out to be a dual 4th-level cooperation mode. The name of this task is Vampire Conspiracy, and now the vampire finally appeared. But no matter how you look at it, the 2 creatures of vampires and desert scorpions are very inconsistent. How did they mix together? After carefully scanning deep into the cave, Xiaoming got the answer. This underground cave is like a maze, with many connections. It is unusually clear in the scanned map. The maze has 2 core areas. The closer you get to the core area, the more vampires there are and the fewer scorpions there are. In one of the cores, a group of 4th level vampires, led by 2 5th level vampires, are casting a spell on a 5th level desert scorpion. Xiaoming immediately sensed this spell. It was a confusing spell like soul transfer hypnosis. No wonder the vampires can control these scorpions. They have controlled the Scorpion King, and the scorpions outside should all be his descendants. In another core, a ceremony was presided over by 3 5th level vampires, leading a large group of 4th level vampires. There are all kinds of blood-colored spells and patterns painted everywhere in the cave. There is also a blood pool the size of a swimming pool in the middle. The blood waves are surging inside the pool, as if something is brewing. It looks like they are going to create or summon some kind of high-level creature. The only thing I don't know is whether they want to create a monster? Or do they want to tinker with a group of monsters? Anyway, it looks pretty creepy. And Xiaoming also discovered a bigger secret. In the 2 core areas, there is a level 6 NPC hidden. Judging from their appearance, they have horns on their heads, blood-red skin, and long whips in their hands. They should be creatures like devils from the Hell Clan. This is Xiaoming's judgment based on common sense. At this time, Xiaoming didn't know that their official name is actually evil gods. And those level 5 vampires don't seem to know the existence of these 2 evil gods. Is this the so-called behind-the-scenes mastermind? Xiaoming estimates that 100 level 3 players can't complete such a difficult task at all. Players can still deal with level 4 enemies together. Level 5 vampires are almost unsolvable. If the 2 level 6 evil gods are included, this task can't be done at all. At this time, Xiaoming forgot that the requirement of this task is to find out the purpose of the vampires, not to eliminate these vampires or disrupt their actions. If the purpose is not to kill the enemy, but just to explore, players still have a chance to sneak into the interior and find these 2 core areas. As long as the player sees the scenes in these 2 places, it doesn't matter if they die. The mission can be completed. In fact, there is no need to be so troublesome. Among the vampires patrolling the periphery, some are more gossipy. They will reveal part of the conspiracy during the patrol. The player just needs to eavesdrop. Of course, it is easy to say this, but it is still very difficult to achieve this level. This was originally a task chain. At level 3, it just allows players to discover this problem and notify the Lord of Greybone City. After level 4, there will be subsequent sabotage tasks. By the time you reach level 5, you may be inspired to discover the evil god's conspiracy. Anyway, the system definitely didn't intend for the player to settle the whole matter at this time. Unfortunately, this mission encountered cheating whistleblowers. It is estimated that it will not reach the later stage. When Xiaoming was thinking about how to deal with this matter, the players on the surface have been holding on for more than 20 minutes, and random desert vortexes have begun to appear on the surface. The 8 players sent by the guild, along with their mercenaries, entered different whirlpools one after another. Then he was randomly teleported into the sea of sand. There are no ready-made passages in the sand sea, only cavities without sand, and players are teleported into the cavities. There is still a chance of being attacked by scorpions. After persisting for a period of time, a new desert vortex will appear in the cavity again, and it will be teleported again. Next, it all depends on the luck of the players. Those who are unlucky will encounter a powerful scorpion and be killed. If you are lucky, you may pass through the sand sea and enter the underground cave in just a few teleports. Then there is a chance to complete the task. The failure of the 2 major guilds was that they sent too few players. If you enter at full capacity, you may have particularly good luck. It's a pity that they were too greedy for rewards and only brought some of the guild's elites to do the mission. The situation of overwhelming luck did not happen, and everyone was buried in the sea of sand. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 699. Under the strong suggestion of a group of mind beasts, Xiaoming did not use alchemy to directly kill these guys. Instead, he sent out the mind beasts to play. In fact, most of the mind beasts are very honest, but the ones with souls are more lively. Including 13 aliens, plus the armored car King Kong Zhonghong. These 14 level 5 guys really want to fight. As mind beasts, they can appear in the game. They haven't participated in the battle for a long time recently, and they are a bit bored. Another transformer, Zhang Nan, simulates a hacker energy pistol. He is an experimental product with a petite body, so his combat power is naturally weaker. This is different from the Transformers cartoon. Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons, can transform into a pistol, and his strength is extremely strong. It can be seen that there is still a difference between a pistol and a pistol. Zhang Nan rarely follows Xiaoming now, and usually hangs out with Xiao Sheneng. I don't know why they get along well. As game servers, Xiao Sheneng and Mao Moer have been taking turns working in Guangmingding, and they can no longer be summoned in the game. Since all 14 mind beasts have come out to move, Xiaoming did not favor one over the other and summoned out 64 king guards and 100 orc uniform shadow clones. It would be so lively if everyone played together. Xiaoming even summoned Xiao He, the ancestor queen of the chimeric alien. Xiao He is equivalent to Xiaoming's clone and has no ability to act independently. As Xiaoming absorbs and analyzes more and more genetic information, Xiao He's strength is actually growing continuously. Now it has evolved from the intermediate level of level 3 to the primary level of level 4. Xiaoming did not plan to let Xiao He participate in the battle. He was responsible for cleaning up the mess, and he needed to suck the blood and flesh of those vampires and scorpions. After the 13 alien children became transformers, they could no longer suck blood and flesh for him. The king guards are still level 3, and the orc uniform itself is only level 3 strength, but when it is put on the shadow clone, it is a solid level 5 combat power. Among the enemies in the underground cave, only the 5 vampires were at level 5. The other 2 level 6 evil gods could probably be killed by his men. They were not a threat. In fact, the mind beasts sent by Xiaoming rushed into the underground cave like a whirlwind, and cleaned up all the vampires and desert scorpions like a tide. There was almost no enemy. Even the double level 4 combination of vampires riding sand scorpions was killed instantly by several level 5 aliens. Zhonghong was like a battle fortress, setting up more than 10 hacker energy guns to provide long-range support. One person can defeat several. The King's Guards and the Orc Girl Shadow clone didn't have to play, but since they were here, they still tried their best to fight a few waves. The underground cave was a complex maze, and it was impossible for these nearly 200 mind beasts to act together. Therefore, they were divided into several combat teams. 2 of the stronger teams were guided by Xiaoming to rush into 2 core areas. The other teams were responsible for clearing the patrol teams scattered everywhere. Xiao He was the worst off, rushing around to get food. Although vampires and the skeleton mage, the dead man, both belong to the undead clan, theoretically they should not fight each other. But this is only true in theory. Grey Bone City is a city specialized in skeletons. Vampires gathered in large numbers near Grey Bone City, and they must report to Grey Bone City. Otherwise, it is equivalent to invasion. This group of vampires is already in a hostile state with Grey Bone City. Otherwise, where would this purple master level task come from? There is no problem for players to kill them. What's more, these vampires are still unclear with the Hell Clan. There is no discussion about beating him. Xiaoming's army of mind beasts moved too fast, crushing all obstacles on the way forward, and no fish escaped. This caused the 5th level vampires in the 2 core areas to have no idea that they were invaded. As a result, although they were level 5, they were busy with their work and were attacked by the more numerous and stronger alien King Kongs, which were also level 5. Alien King Kongs come from aliens and are assassin-type creatures. They have never been interested in fighting people head-on. They are determined to carry forward the style of sneak attacks to the end. Then some level 5 Orcs shadow clones came to finish off the attack, and the King's Guards did not get involved in these two strong teams at all. Faced with such strength, a total of 5 level 5 vampires in the two places were all killed in one encounter. Then came the encirclement and suppression of those level 4 vampires. In these two places, the vampires were performing some kind of joint spell. Once the level 5 vampires who were the core were attacked, the entire spell collapsed. Strong backlash was also one of the important reasons why the level 5 vampires were killed instantly. Similarly, those level 4 vampires were not much better. They collapsed on the ground and were killed one by the beast's big moves. The 5th level Scorpion King was still in a confused state at the beginning. So he attacked the Mind Beast. The alien had a bad temper. He bit the Scorpion King to pieces on the spot. I don't know if it regained consciousness before dying. At the same time, the players of the two guilds outside, including their mercenaries, were killed by the scorpions in the Sand Sea. These scorpions are still experienced. Since the Scorpion King has been killed, there is no need for them to continue living. Xiaoming originally placed those shadow clones pretending to be players in the Sand Sea, just to deal with the scorpions. In the Naruto world, after Xiaoming sucked the horns dry, he learned various ninjutsu of fire, wind, thunder, earth, and water. Unfortunately, he didn't know ninjutsu related to sand. Otherwise, it would be easier to fight in the Sand Sea. Because Xiaoming's Mind Beast moved too fast, the battle was a one-shot kill. The two 6th level evil gods just watched and didn't take action. While they were still hesitating, the battle was over. Although they were 6th level, they faced so many strange 5th level enemies. They still remained invisible and didn't dare to take action. Since the action had failed, there was no point in them taking action. Besides, they might not be able to beat them. So the two activated the space magic and prepared to teleport away from here. But they forgot to ask whether the deceased agreed or not. In this terrain, even the 7th level master of the horns died. If these two level 6 guys were allowed to escape, Xiaoming would feel a little sorry for Kakuzu. So he used the barrier technique to enclose the two core areas early on. The two evil gods activated the space magic, but were surprised to find that they couldn't get out. The space here was actually blocked by someone. Oh my! Whose trick was this? They could actually set up such a powerful space blockade silently. At asterisk, the two evil gods were a little confused. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 700. The fate of the two 6th level evil gods is self-evident. Xiaoming wanted to use them to practice his close combat ability. He did not let the alien King Kong and Zhonghong take action, and the King's Guards were also withdrawn. Xiao He was eating everywhere. Those who really faced the evil gods were all 5th level Beastman girl uniform shadow clones. It was like using the Chunin in the Naruto world to pile up the Jonin. And the evil gods are just the right type of soldiers to be used as sandbags. The characteristics of the evil gods are that their attack and defense are at the normal level of the same level soldiers, but their vitality is low. His specialty is not helpful for personal combat ability, but a strategic stunt. The evil gods can use exclusive magic to resurrect the corpses of flesh and blood creatures into 4th level hell soldier creatures, evil ghosts. The evil ghosts are not strong among 4th level creatures, they can only be regarded as qualified meat shields, and their damage is also okay. A good man can't stand up to too many ghosts. It is necessary to have magic power. The evil gods can always resurrect evil ghosts. The resurrected evil ghosts are not summoned beasts, but real soldiers. So even after the battle, they will continue to exist and strengthen the evil god's forces. For this reason, Xiaoming even wanted to use his mind ability private tutor to learn the evil god's special skills. A stone from another mountain can be used to polish jade. Xiaoming is always relatively weak against this kind of strategic ability. In fact, this ability is purely useless to him. Wouldn't it be better to use death to harvest corpses? But he still wants to learn more skills, which is a bit bad. Fortunately, Xiaoming's intuition immediately issued a bad alarm and dispelled his boring idea. Xiaoming's shadow clones are not weak, and there are many of them, but they lack combat experience, otherwise the evil god would have been killed long ago. But the shadow clones are not flesh and blood creatures, and the corpses cannot be seen after being killed, so the evil god cannot play his own specialty. The final result is that the two evil gods were exhausted by the shadow clones. They fell limply to the ground, gasping for breath, covered with wounds, and looked a little pitiful. In order to prevent them from dying too early, Xiaoming had to use the 7th shadow clone with Sherry Nan to pull the spirits of these two guys into the moon reading. These two evil gods are as high as level 6. They are not ordinary soldiers, but free NPCs. Although the spiritual power of hell creatures is good, it is not as good as the Mangekyo Sherry Nan. In the Hell clan, there is actually no real loyalty. Trapped in the moon reading world, they confessed very obediently. Level 6 masters are already considered high level in human society and can know many secrets. They are generally protected when entering and leaving. But they are still a little bit lacking in the Hell camp. The evil gods of level 6 can only be regarded as two small fish. Because the real opponent of the Hell camp is not the human camp itself, but the guardian of mankind, the angel camp. The strength is incomparable. Moreover, the spirits of these two evil gods have also been cursed by the devil of hell. We can also think that this is a system setting. What they can really tell players is only the information related to this task. If you want to ask for some other information about hell, there is no way. The cause of the matter is like this. A certain intermediate demon in hell got in touch with a branch of vampires in the undead race. Vampires are a rare flesh and blood soldier among the undead, and they are extremely thirsty for blood donations. They really have a lot of similarities with the devil. So the two forces fell in love. This group of vampires wanted to switch camps and join the demon, and at the same time they wanted to sell at a good price. The two sides are now in the early stage of cooperation and trial. Everyone is in the evil camp, and no one can trust each other casually. Vampires want to use demons to strengthen their own forces, and demons also want to use vampires to extend their tentacles to the surface. But if vampires go directly to demons, they will probably be eaten without leaving any residue. Demons take the initiative to find vampires, and they are also afraid of being deceived and falling into the trap set by the undead race. So the cooperation between the two sides must be carried out bit by bit, and gradually build up mutual trust. This time, the demon taught the vampire a method to summon a powerful hell soldier. This method requires a lot of blood, so there is the blood pool. Hey, now Xiao He is inserting the straw on his tail into the blood pool and drinking it happily. I hope he won't get an upset stomach. This kind of thing can't be done near the key cities of the undead clan, otherwise it can't be hidden from the powerful people in the undead clan. The blood pool has a strong smell, so other vampires must be avoided at the same time. Even zombies and other races that are more sensitive to flesh and blood must be avoided. So they chose Grey Bone City, a newly established city specializing in skeletons. In addition to the fact that the skeleton clan is not sensitive to blood, the harsh natural environment in the desert can also provide a good cover. Grey Bone City is not particularly far from the Mediterranean Sea to the north. Vampires can transport blood from the sea. If the plan succeeds, they don't plan to attack Grey Bone City. It's just a pile of skeletons, and vampires are not interested. They just plan to use the Hell Army as a weapon to occupy a few islands in the Mediterranean as a springboard and then march into the European continent. But if things don't go smoothly and the advance fails, the European countries will only trace it to Grey Bone City. This move of diverting trouble to others is also quite unethical. The system script for this is to let Grey Bone City discover this during the player's 3-4 level period. Then Grey Bone City dispatched a large army, forcing the vampires to move and conduct experiments in another place. This task will become a task chain. In the end, even the forces of demons and vampires will be involved. However, Xiao Ming's action has caused the whole thing to fall into a strange vortex. Even the demons were shocked. You should know that the Lord of Grey Bone City is only a 5th level master, and he did not dispatch a large army. 2 6th level evil gods were killed. How can they not be shocked? The vampire forces are even worse, losing 5 5th level masters, a large number of 3-4th level vampires, and wasting a lot of resources. The simple loss is not small, and what is more terrifying is the unknown enemy. Who wiped them out? If it was the top leaders of the undead clan, it means that their conspiracy has been exposed. It may even be that the demons deliberately sold them out. And the demons will also suspect whether the 2 evil gods were harmed by vampires or sold to the top leaders of the undead clan. What's even more terrifying is that if neither side betrays the other, more forces will enter the game. The whole thing becomes even more confusing. The player completes the task, and Grey Bone City will definitely know something. The Lord of Grey Bone City, Bai Yulin, is the vice president of the White Fang Chamber of Commerce, which is also a force to be reckoned with in the undead clan. If they get involved, where will things go? It is still unknown.